everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those who are just tuning in, welcome. My name is Jessica, and you can also follow me on Instagram at YesicanDoMakeUp. And for today's video, I recreated Kim Kardashian's look from the Winnie and Hollow collaboration they did. I'll post a picture so you guys can see which look I'm talking about. So this is a look that I recreated. So if you wanted to see how I created this look, just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay guys, so for the time taken of this video, I already did my eyebrows and also cleaned them up. And the products I use is the Fenty Beauty eyebrow pencil in the shade dark brown. And then I cleaned them up with the It by my under eye concealer in the shade medium tan. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and prime my lids, and I'm going to use a soft ochre paint by MAC. And I'm going to go ahead and use this Vasanti concealer brush. Apply that product all over my lids. Want those eyeshadows to stand out, especially because I have really dark lids from my pigmentation on my skin, so I want those colors to show a lot more. Okay, the first palette I'm going to be using is Through My Eyes palette from my YesicanDoMakeUp ColourPop collaboration, and I'm using this Morphe M504 brush. And the first shade I'm going to be using is a shade called Sandalwood, which is this shade here. That's gonna be my transitions shade, and it's like a grayish brown shade. We're gonna be using a lot of browns and grays for this look. So next palette I'm gonna be using, and I'm sorry, I know it is dirty, is the KkW and Mario palette, and I'm gonna be using the shade called Loyalty, which is this shade here. This shade here. And I'm using this Morphe M441 brush. I'm applying that right in the crease area. And I'm blending that shade upward. And this shade is like a grayish, darker brown. So that's the way I can describe it. I'm also blending that shade upward just to blend with that first shade we have just applied. The next palette I'm going to be using is this Morphe 3502 palette and Second Nature palette, and I'm going to be using this Morphe M43 brush. Placing this shade here, I'm sorry it doesn't have a name on it, with this shade here, which is the second to last shade. Unfortunately, the other shade fell out and it broke, so yeah, it's a bummer. But yeah, we're placing that shade right in the outer corner and inner corner of the eye. And also in the middle, like if we're doing a halo eye, we're gonna leave that center blank, because I'm noticing that she has a lighter shade in that area. Now I'm gonna go back with that YesicanDoMakeUp ColourPop palette, and I'm gonna use the same shade Sandalwood, the first shade we applied. I'm gonna apply that right in that center, that gap that we left off in the middle. I'm placing that shade right in the middle. I'm gonna go back with that Morphe palette and using that same shade we used, that darkest shade, and I'm going over a little bit just so those shades can blend better together. Now I'm gonna be using the Perception palette from Shayla and ColourPop collaboration they did, and I'm gonna go ahead and be using that shade called Titus, which is this shade here. And I'm applying that shade right where we apply that darker shade, because I did notice that she has some shimmer throughout the whole lid. We're just gonna be placing that shade over it. Now I'm gonna go back with that Morphe M43, and I'm just blending that shade. And I'm gonna go back with the KkW and Mario palette again, and I'm gonna be using this shade here, which is called 2008. And I'm using this MAC eyeshadow brush, and I'm placing that shade right in the middle. Give it that pop of color. color like she has in the center of the lid. And I'm going to be using this Morphe M43 brush, and basically I'm going to be going back and forth with those two shades we just applied to make them blend together. And I'm going to go ahead and apply some liner, and I'm using this gel liner from Pretty Vulgar, which is in the shade Blacklist. I'm using this Morphe M2501 brush. I'm just going to go ahead and line my lid. Also, this line doesn't have to be perfect because we are gonna smudge it. So, I'm noticing hers is all smudged and smoked out. So before the eyeliner sets, I'm gonna be using any black eyeshadow you may have. I'm using this Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette in the shade Noir. And I'm using this Morphe M408 brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and smudge that liner. And back and forth. And I'm gonna go ahead and go back with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, and I'm using that shade called Fairy Now, which is this shade here. It's like a champagne gold shade, and I'm placing that shade right underneath my brow bone. Okay, so for my foundation, I'm going to be mixing this MAC Strobe Cream and this Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation in the shade 300. The reason why I'm mixing the two is because my skin is very dry right now, and as you can see, I'm really breaking out. It's that time of the month. And I'm going to be using this Luxie 660 Precision Foundation brush. I usually use a sponge, but I need more coverage today, so that's what I'm using with the brush today. Okay, I'm going to be using this 8x Under Eye Concealer in the shade Medium Sand. Just apply that all over underneath my eye area, and I'm using this Real Technique sponge to apply that product. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and also brighten up my under eye area, since she does a lot of the brightening underneath the eye. I'm using this Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair. Going to use that same Real Technique sponge again, and also blend that product outward. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some powder, and I'm using this Lancome Dual Finish powder in the shade Wheat, and I'm gonna be using my Moda brush, powder brush. I'm placing that product all over the skin. I'm gonna go ahead and bake it. I'm gonna be using this Huda Beauty translucent powder, and this is in the shade Banana Bread, and I'm using the same Real Technique sponge. And placing that product right underneath the eye area. We'll place that concealer. I'm also using that same Real Technique sponge. I'm going to do a reverse contour with the same powder. Just placing that right underneath where I'll place my bronzer at. I'm going to go ahead and remove that powder right now. I don't like to usually sit for that long because it leaves me like a really dark, harsh white patch. As you can see already, look what it's doing. You know. And I'm gonna go back with the KkW Beauty and Mario palette, and I'm gonna be using the shade Miami, which is this shade here, this middle shade. Using this Morphe M506 brush.
Purchase your tracks.
In that same palette, I'm using a darker shade there, and this Morphe M408 brush, that smudging brush. Placing that right on the lower lashes. I'm gonna go ahead and water my waterline with that same Pretty Vulgar gel liner. So I'm going to go ahead and back with that Anastasia Beverly Hills palette and using that shade Noir again, and using also this Morphe M408 brush and smudging that liner and shadow together. And also bringing it outward to connect with that liner, the top liner. I'm applying some mascara on the bottom lashes, and I'm using the Better Than Sex mascara. Okay, since we are doing a Kim look, of course I have to use her KkW powder contour and highlighting kit. This is in the shade medium. And I'm gonna be using the same motor brush for the powder brush and using this shade here.
Purchase your tracks today.
And I'm using this darker shade now, just to deepen that contour. I'm just placing it in the very hollows of my cheeks and bringing it upward towards my hairline. I'm gonna go ahead and contour my nose, and I'm using the lighter shade also. I'm placing that shade right on the sides of my nose. And I'm gonna be using the highlighter here, and I'm using this Moda highlighting brush. I'm using that as my highlight. I'm placing that on the very top of my cheekbone. And I'm also placing that right above the arch of my brow. Applying some on the very tip of my nose there, and also right here, the starting bridge of my nose. Okay, for my lips, I'm gonna be using this Ultra liquid lipstick in the shade Verona. Okay, now I'm gonna be using this Kylie Cosmetic liquid lipstick in the shade Exposed. And I'm placing that right in the center of my lips, because I'm seeing that she has like an ombre effect in the center of the lips. So it's darker in the outer corners and lighter in the center. The gloss I'm going to be using today is from Kylie Cosmetics, and this is from the Kris Jenner and Kylie collaboration. It's in the shade Really. So it's a very nude shade. I hope you really enjoyed watching this tutorial, and if you wanted to see more videos, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and also I really appreciate it if you can give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, guys. Till next time.